come on. Aberg, come on. Boteto, come on. Brett Hunt is what he is. He's a 7. But he's a power play specialist that doesn't ever get on the power play. Because he's playing 20 seconds of every power play. And then when you could use his incredible shot in the last minute of games, he doesn't get on there. So it's not like Bruce has had a lot of help here. And he had Niederreiter, Coyle, and Granlund taken away from him. Now, again, I see what Paul's trying to do. This team wasn't good enough. He recognized it, and he started to tear it apart, which is what he was tasked here to do at some point. But from a coaching standpoint, it certainly hasn't helped Bruce's cause this year. So if you're Bruce Boudreau, do you really want to come back? I'm sure he does, but he's getting paid no matter what.
Right.
So, I don't know. I got to think he's a frustrated coach right now. You see it on his face. Last night he was resigned to the fate. He knows. He's not an idiot. He's coached this league forever. He's coached in professional hockey forever. He's in the freaking AHL Hall of Fame. One of the winningest coaches in AHL history. Second best regular season points percentage in the history of the National Hockey League. Think he doesn't know that this team really has to go 7-1, 8-0 right now? Like, we could all pretend they're still only a point out. No, they're not. Okay? You don't go, as I said, 6-2 or whatever it is in the last 9 or 10 home games and make the playoffs. You just don't.
That was a good rant. Let's catch up with some of our sponsors. FixologyRepair.com, downtown in the Skyway, just south of the Wells Fargo Center. Also, Mall of America, 3rd floor by Nordstrom's. Thanks to John Hedges for continuing to support the podcast. And hey, listen, we're able to do this show. We're able to run the network because of our sponsors. We appreciate them. Please patronize them. Please take advantage of their services. They're good people. Also, BiteSquad.com runs a promo. If you haven't ever ordered from Bite Squad before, go to BiteSquad.com, go to the Bite Squad app, type in Talk North, all caps, one word. You'll get your first delivery fee waived. But even if you don't, even if you used Bite Squad before, use them again. They can save you dishes. They can save you having to find a parking spot, having to get a table, having to wait in line, having to do a lot of things that you have to do when you have to go out, especially in bad weather or late at night. If you have kids, it simplifies your life. BiteSquad.com, they've been great to us. So, again, patronize FixologyRepair.com for all your tablet, watch, repair type needs, and take care of BiteSquad.com as well.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at FixologyRepair.com or at FixologyMN on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
You want to hear a funny text exchange?
Yes, I do.
So this is me and Greenlay chatting before about him going to Home Depot. I'm sending pictures of the stuff I need him to hang. So the last one I sent him is this gigantic thing. I bought this Michael Brower XL Energy Center print, and I bought this frame at Michael's Art yesterday for $65. And so first I send him a picture of the back of the frame, and he has to write me. He goes, "That last picture you sent isn't the hooks to hang on; it's to hold the picture in the frame." So then I sent him the right hooks, and then I go, haha, okay, 4 of these, 2 on the side up high, 2 oddly positioned on the top and the bottom. He goes, "Now this is at 8:57 this morning. Yes, that's to hang it. Probably run a wire across it. 8:58. So a minute later, probably 30 seconds, I go, scratch the frame. I just smashed the glass." And the glass shattered everywhere. I was taking the thing that he said would held the back of the print in the frame.
Yep.
And I picked it up and I undid it and I turned it over and went.
See, you and I are the type of people we should never try to do anything ourselves.
Yep. Speaking of which, I just stabbed myself with a shard of that glass.
Just hire other people to do it. And just spilled water.
You might want to move.
Yeah, I might want to move. Oh, my God.
Hey, why don't we pause everything?
Good Lord. I guess we're going to pause everything, people.
There we go.
Okay. I guess we need some kind of home improvement store or maybe a hospital to sponsor us now because you are cutting yourself, spilling water all over your new house. My wife loves watching like cooking shows, and she loves reading about like home and home model and all that kind of stuff. I think he's bleeding. Michael Russo's bleeding. I think this would be a great reality show.
Let me just, I'll just give a little recap for Russo Slacks on what just happened. So, as I was telling the shard of glass story, I literally stabbed myself with one of the shards of glass. Then, as I was picking the shard of glass out of my finger, I just spilled an entire glass of water on this wooden table. And now I am looking and I'm like, I don't know how I didn't see this, but this table right where I'm sitting is just covered with shards of glass. You have a Band-Aid?
I don't. It's your house. Just have your butler tape it up.
Yeah, this is pretty painful.
All right. Well, Mr. Russo Slacks, the great Twitter parody account, second only to Devin's Cow. I think you have been given the mother load here. You can do all kinds of things with your Photoshop. Genius. Yeah. Michael's sitting here bleeding.
Well, we definitely know the title of the show. Russo stabs himself with a shard of glass in the middle of the podcast. Is that too long?
That's too long. Just
Brandon,
Russo
is that
stabs
too long?
himself. Just Russo stabs himself.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to. We're going to do Twitter
I think
questions.
shard of glass would make people listen. Don't you think?
If
we at The Athletic, we're all about knowing the right words to get hits.
The reality is, Michael, if they already listen, they don't have great taste anyway. So, we can pretty much throw anything we want out there.
There's really so much little glass.
There's so much little glass. Let's go to Twitter. I'm going to ask you one question. You mentioned the locker room. What is wrong with this locker room?
I don't know. I mean, it's just they're all been together forever. Everybody's tired of each other. Last night, last night, I don't know. Like, I'm sitting in the locker room and I'm like listening to all. I didn't even know what to ask. It's like,
I know, I hate that feeling.
Even my story, like you could just tell. It's like, let's put it this way: when I packed up, usually I'm the last one out of the press box. I got up yesterday and people were commenting, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm done. I hit period, sent. Even my editor, Zach Pierce, when I told him that, when I sent him a Slack, I said, hey, I'm in with a smiley face. He goes, oh boy. Because usually he gets the story like an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it's like, so even me, it's just like, you're kind of like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you even ask after last night? Can't be like anymore about their effort. They're just not good enough. So
yeah. All right, let's go to Twitter questions from John Tomlinson.
You have a dustpan?
I don't.
Okay.
He's not with me. From John Tomlinson, is it hard to write the same story over and over, but try and find some new nugget? I love Stahl, but he's getting slower in his 2-year extension while affordable fills a center spot. We need to upgrade.
I agree. I don't get the extension. First round pick and a player from the Bruins. I have from sources there.
Yep.
And they chose to re-sign him, and you could have re-signed him this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't get it. And this is, as somebody always says to me, this game. It doesn't. You go from here to here, and nobody's seeing what I'm saying. But you don't.
Michael's holding his bleeding pinky up high and then moving it low and getting blood all over his table.
You don't. This game doesn't allow you to get old gracefully. And that's what I'm seeing right now. I don't think he's hurt. So
this is just it, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go to Kyler Vassford, longtime listener. Let's. By the way, did you have a question for Tony Hoaglund?
Yes, Tony just asked me about Jimmy Schultz and what the chances of the Wild to sign him. And I don't know if Jimmy Schultz is watching the Wild. He might not. What I just said about Brad Hunt. I mean, do you want to play behind Suter and Brodin? That could be a problem. This kid is stud. He's going to have every team going after him. The one team that I'm hearing that might go after him is the Vegas Golden Knights hard. I think that would probably intrigue anybody. But look, burning a year. The thing is that everybody will burn a year for Jimmy Schultz. So I don't think that would push him over the top to come here. It's just whether or not a kid from Minnetonka would be interested in playing it for his hometown team. The Matt Robson thing, what I didn't see coming, and the reason why. Look, I've been saying on this podcast for weeks. There's a lot of water over there. What I've been saying on this podcast for weeks that the Wild were going to go hard after Matt Robson, there are two reasons why I started to think the Wild were going to get him, is that somebody very close to him at the U told me that he has a ton of opportunities and that he didn't think that he would choose Minnesota because they're just one of many opportunities. But then what happened is they said, you know what, we'll burn a year. And so that, I think, I bet you the Wild were the only team willing to carry 3 goalies the rest of the way. And so that allows him to, be here rather than going to Iowa, really practice with the NHL team, even though there's not going to be a ton of practices here, and take some shots, get acclimated, and heck, if this team gets eliminated, maybe even play. Who knows?
Yeah.
So that was the difference and why Matt Robson chose here. He also had an incredible, what I didn't realize until I saw them embrace last night, is that Brian Hunter, who's an incredible amateur scout for the Wild, he's been here for a long time, really forged a great relationship with this kid, and I think that meant a lot to the Wild's ability to sign him. But to Jimmy Schultz, I think the Wild are one of many teams going after him. I can tell you from talking to his advisor here, same thing on Matt Robson. I'm not getting the impression the Wild have a great shot for the reason that I told you at the very beginning. I think defensemen are wary of if Ryan Suter played 28 minutes 2 nights ago. That hurts you to get guys that want to eventually be behind that.
That question was brought to you by Tony Hoaglund, a longtime sponsor. Tony runs State Farm Insurance out of Champlin. He handles my insurance. He handles Michael's insurance. He also is now offering financial services. And Tony's a great guy, very trustworthy, very efficient. Hoaglund.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoaglund. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number 1 in car insurance since World War II and number 1 in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
All right, Kyler Vasfaret, how does a guy like Aberg that plays as lazy as he does make it to the NHL? I saw him sidestep an Abs player in the corner on the forecheck rather than be bothered with battling for a puck.
It's not even. I completely agree. He'll be in the KHL next year. The Wild should not qualify him. Right. It's a bad message to send. He's not good enough. And, again, I don't know how much there's a reason why a guy that skilled was scratched in Anaheim, who at the time was awful. And I don't know how much Paul scouted him down the stretch. It cost him, a minor leaguer that was never going to get an opportunity here. As much as fans out there probably love Justin Kluse, the writing was on the wall that he was never getting a shot here. So, and my guess is that, like a lot of GMs do, they look at players with scouts' eyes, and Paul Fenton drafted him, and probably still like, come on, I know the guy's skill level, but we haven't even seen the skill level. Right. He has shown nothing other than a great shot in Nashville that should have been stopped. Let's be honest, it was a terrible goal. So I agree. And unfortunately, again, you're Bruce Boudreau. This isn't, I'm not even talking about, like I said before, about like how are you helped this year. Think of also since the trade deadline how he's been handicapped. He can't make you. There's no competition that he can allow. There's no extra bodies, so he can't. You think that he wants to play Aberg? He finally took him off the power play, but you think he wants to play Aberg? He would scratch him in a freaking heartbeat. So.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the deep sigh. We got it from Ted.
The good news is that my blood clotted.
Yeah, I was worried about you. I was worried about you bleeding out. From Ted, it's like a pinprick. It's like the smallest cut I've ever seen. I can't believe it's even bleeding. From Ted, Angry Gopher Schmenke.
It was a shard of glass that was embedded, Jim.
You're right.
That's
you know what?
Why.
It's not as bad as you hurting your finger, pulling up your socks. I will admit that.
That's true. That lasted forever. I have another. You know that game Spike Ball?
No, I don't know what that is.
Spike Ball is this cool game. It's not meant for people with my athleticism and lack of speed, but it's this cool thing. It's like a volleyball game with a ball, and you spike it on this little trampoline type thing, and you play with like 3 other people. And my friend Reed will love this story because he listens to every podcast, lives in North Carolina. I'm playing with him and his brothers, Rolf and Ross, who, by the way, the parents... his mom and stepfather, their mom and stepfather, gave me a Weber grill for a housewarming.
Oh my God.
Yeah, how about that? But anyway, So I'm playing spike ball with them a couple summers in
I'll
Michigan.
give you one charcoal briquette.
Yes. No, it's gas. And
I'll still give you one charcoal.